Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sustainable Design and Analysis using Autodesk AEC Collection Solutions inside and Forma specifically. My name is Juliana, and I work in marketing here at MicroCAD. And today's presenter is Sandra Volgemuth, our applications specialist. At today's webinar, you will learn how these advanced tools empower eco-friendly infrastructure projects by seamlessly integrating technology. Throughout the webinar, as usual, you can ask a question on the left-hand corner. You can ask Sandra to revisit a step or ask any questions. This is your time, and we want you to make the most of it. And in the upper left-hand corner, you will find links to our social media and website. Also, make sure to check our YouTube channel. We post all of our webinars there at the end, so you can share with colleagues or rewatch it on your own time. And without further ado, we'll pass it on to Sandra. Hey, Sandra.
Hi, Juliana. Thank you for that beautiful presentation. Let me start by sharing my screen. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sandra Volgemuth. I am an AEC specialist with MicroCAD. Have been so for the last 4 years. I have also a background as a BIM-CAD manager within engineering, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing firm. I occupied that position for 7 years, and before that, I have been playing with Revit since forever. Today, we are going to be talking about a subject that is very dear to me because I really think that the more that we advance as humankind, the more we need to pay attention to this, and which is sustainable design and analysis. And I want to kind of go around all the offerings that Autodesk has within the AEC Collection Solutions for you to be more sustainable and what tools you can use for analysis. So when we are thinking about sustainable design, there are 6 points that need to be taken care of. One is to optimize your site potential. We want to make sure that we minimize not renewable energy consumption. We want to make sure that we use better products regarding the environment. Water conservation is a must nowadays. Making sure that the indoor environment has a better quality for the users. And then at the end of the construction cycle, when we send our projects to be inhabited by the end users, we want to make sure that we optimize operational and maintenance practices. So keeping all these points in mind, I'm going to go point by point and kind of hint at the Autodesk package that is within the AECC Solutions offering, and how they are going to help you and how they should be used and what they basically do. So point number 1, and again, my main goal is just thinking how can we make our architecture more sustainable. And point number 1 was optimizing the site potential. And when I think of optimizing the potential of a site, the software that comes to mind is Autodesk Forma. Forma is a cloud offering that is incredibly powerful. With Forma, you can develop your site design. So Forma is mostly geared for architects, real estate developers, and urban planners. And then you have the option to leverage on data that is built into Forma regarding the site where you're working on, and then start creating from just massing studies of how you're going to occupy that site. You can make design decisions, and in real time, there is a whole bunch of analysis tools within Forma that will enable your team to deliver a smarter and more sustainable project. So, looking a little bit deeper, and I'm going to dwell a whole bunch into Forma because I think that is one of our, at this point, least well known softwares. So, within Forma, you can analyze your operational energy, you can analyze the microclimate, you can analyze your solar energy, the sun hours, your daylight potential, the wind on your site, the noise, and views. Notice that solar energy and the views analysis at this point are still under development, but I'm sure Autodesk will catch up onto them and get them done sooner than later. So dwelling even a little bit deeper, you can model a microclimate, you can predict your operational energy, you can do wind analysis and assess the airflow within Forma, you can estimate your solar energy, you can optimize your daylight potential, you can create multiple design options or options and analyze them comparatively, one between the other, and therefore have in a very macro way, in a very high-end way, an analysis done within Forma that will allow you to define how your site is going to be best utilized in terms of sustainability. If I go to point number 2, when we think about minimizing non-renewable energy consumption, the first thing that comes to mind for me is the offering of Insight. Insight is also a cloud-based offering that runs out of Revit that allows you to get real-time feedback. It has a integration with Revit that you can make multiple analysis and run it multiple times. You can do whole building energy analysis, you can do daylight analysis, and you can do heating and cooling load calculations. And real quick, let me show you how this looks like. So this is a building that I just analyzed, and in Insight, you get benchmark comparisons for your energy consumption. You can have different model histories. You can have your building orientation. It gives you the window wall ratio. It gives you your window shade. So in each one of them tells you where your project is at this point and how you could change your options, right? And all these, it's very interactive, very easy to read. Gives you all your window wall ratios. It gives you your shades. It gives you your glass information. It gives you your wall construction, your roof construction, the infiltrations that you have, your plug loads, daylight occupancy, lighting efficiency, HVAC operating schedule, and it also has for solar power panels, how you could optimize your building utilizing that technology too. So as I said, Insight, and this is based out of a Revit model, and you send a model into, actually specifically this model, you send it through your Analyze tab into, first you need to create an energy model Your energy model can be based out of your building elements, and then you can generate the energy analysis through this tab. Okay, and that is what I did before. If you had not seen this part of Revit before, you can check here in the energy settings how you can define your building. So right now I'm using my masses and my building elements, and then you can define what type of building it is, and you can define your operating schedule, you can define your HVAC system. You can even go and define material thermal properties. So right now I'm picking up the thermal properties from what it is modeled. Revit itself, and there again, if you didn't know that you can do this within Revit, when you define a material in Revit, any material that you choose in Revit has this thermal. So let me scroll down and find, for example, a brick material, right? And it has this thermal information, and this is very accurate, okay? And based on this, Revit can do your energy analysis. So we bounce back a little bit into how this all ties up together, right? It's a kind of round trip circle of matters that need to happen, right? So that is inside. The next element that I want to talk about is when we talk about using environmentally preferable products, and that was part of what I was showing you within the Revit interface, but I'm going to go a little bit further and mention both Revit Structure and Revit MEP, okay, because having the advantage of having one software that covers all my building trades, I can become even so much more sustainable, right? Because everybody is going to be talking, so the MEP engineer can tell the architect that we're needing way too much energy to keep the building at the constant temperature, and then the architect can revise the materials and the thermal mass of the walls and the glazings, and maybe sometimes just the impact of a slight rotation of a building will make the whole difference, right? So the fact that we're dealing with one product like Revit to interact with all the shareholders and all the stakeholders of a building, to interact and have very educated and common communication. My next point is going to be protect and conserve water. And I am showing some drainage pipes, and this is mechanical pipes, but also keep in mind that Revit is an incredibly powerful tool in terms of plumbing design, where you can define through your plumbing fixture units how much water you're needing, and have that for a better water management in your projects. Next, and I'm still in Revit, and I am going to talk about a little bit about the indoor environmental quality. In Revit, you can do daylight analysis and sun and shadows analysis and run daylight simulations, where you can go and check a building to see how much sun or how much shade it is getting, and therefore, again, make very educated decisions on the location of your building, or maybe the rotation of your building, or maybe you might need shades on some windows so that you don't pick up that that much heat in the summer, or you might want to turn your windows to your sunlight exposed walls in the wintertime so that you can heat your building a little bit through passive gain of heat through the walls by having them exposed to the sun. So there again, banking into Revit. So as I said, this is going to be a very quick runaround of the offerings that we have. Let me open this up for questions at this point.
Thank you, Sandra, for that wonderful presentation. And as a reminder, you can ask a question on the left-hand corner. And the first question is, how steep is the learning curve to become proficient in these offerings?
Awesome. Thank you, Juliana. I think that is an awesome, awesome question. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You all know that Revit has, it needs to be learned. It needs to be learned properly from the base up. The other offerings, for example, Forma, is very intuitive, very easy to learn how to use. I would say with 1 day of tinkering with it or getting 1 day of training, you will be proficient in how to use Forma. The huge advantage of that offering is that it is cloud-based, so you can access it from any which location. Insight is just a matter of understanding the interface that I showed you. So anybody that is educated in terms of sustainability will be able to make informed decisions, and it runs straight out of Revit, so there is no learning curve on that side.
Thank you. The second question is, what is your recommended workflow?
Again, a very cool question. I would either start from Forma. If I have a big site, I would start in Forma. And then Forma links directly, and I can export whatever I created in Forma. I can export it out into Revit. And from that point on, continue developing my design and transfer those mass elements into walls, doors, and floors, and roofs, and everything else that I need in Revit. While I am in Revit and very early on, I would grab building by building and send them out to Insight. And from very early on in the design, and I would say from my schematic design, even if I'm just doing mass elements in Revit, I can send those to be analyzed in Insight and start making very educated decisions in terms of the location of my building within the site. Maybe I can rotate my building just a little bit towards the sun or away from the sun, depending on my location. And then those decisions being done in a very early design stage will ensure a much more comprehensive design at the end of the game.
That is so cool and useful. And the third question is regarding Forma. Could I fine-tune my design and reanalyze it in Forma?
That is the beauty of the Forma offering, that you can define your design, export it out to Revit, continue defining it, and then bring it back from Revit into Forma and run again your winds analysis and your daylight analysis out of Forma for the big sites. So it round trips from Forma into Revit and then back from Revit into Forma. So it's a full circle that can happen throughout the whole development of the project.
Got it. Thank you. And if you want to learn any of these topics in detail, we encourage you to always take a custom training. It could be with Sandra or someone else on our team. We also offer group classes online, so be sure to be checking the MicroCAD website for future webinars. We have coming up next on October 5th our inventor user group. Then on October 17, we have Accelerate Your Project with Autodesk from first gear to top speed. And then on October 26th, we will have AC Collection plus AECS Top Tools for Success. All of these are at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So, yeah, be sure to register and check our website for future webinars. And I think this concludes this webinar today. Thank you, Sandra. And these are our contact numbers, and you have my contact information right there below in case you have any questions or do you want to know more about what we discussed today. Yeah, with that, I say thank you to all and thank you for attending and thank you, Sandra. That was great.
Thank you all for being here today. Bye.
Bye bye.